Then once we get into, more of the intimate details that might be shared on this call regarding your businesses, we'll stop the recording just to keep everything safe in the container. Well, welcome to the Marketing Power Hour. This really got created after winter break so that we could really show up and just support, because we know marketing is such a huge job on top of whatever your actual job is. And we know a lot of women are responsible for their own marketing, or they're in a season where they're kind of taking the charge and the lead with that. So my background, I had a marketing company before I started Ventura County Businesswomen. It was back in 2018, and that's actually how Ventura County Businesswomen got created, because I was a small business with a brand new baby, and I was trying to figure out, how do I get new clients? And over the years, I was able to have a successful marketing company. I specialized in Facebook and Instagram, specifically organic growth. So I was creating a bunch of loopholes on how to grow your business on social media without spending ads. So that was kind of my specialty. And then, obviously that got to transition into the growth of the Ventura County Businesswomen community. And so since the community is my full-time job, I really like to just kind of support, the resources, my expertise, my knowledge. Kristen, she'll share about herself. She is our social media manager for Ventura County Businesswomen, and it has just been such an amazing collaboration, taking my, foundation of expertise and then including hers, and then she has, her entire team that get to support us with that. So the Marketing Power Hour really allowed us to come on, support the ecosystem members, and we're kind of honing in and refining this a little bit. We started the event where it was 2 hours. We'd hop on and we try to get some stuff done. And then it's just been refined over the couple of months. So now we're really focusing on a topic every month. So welcome. May's topic is all about visibility burnout. I'm really excited for Kristen to take you through this, and I have some things I'd like to share on that. So then next month we would have a different topic. And again, just kind of always trying to hit the marks of all the different aspects of what it takes to market our business. So excited to be here and share that with you. And hopefully this makes a difference for you today. Kristen, girl, share about yourself.
Thank you, Tani. Hi, I'm Kristen Fegeisen, and I am the founder of Co-Create Marketing. And I have a lot of, in the humble beginnings, it was kind of like, I think this is my sixth business now. So I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and I've had a few different businesses, and I've learned a lot from things not going so great. I've learned a lot from burnout. I've learned a lot from things that did go well. So I'm creating kind of like founder solutions and some different things to help you where you get stuck in your business. And because I've been teaching yoga and meditation for about 20 years too, it's kind of my through line. Like, I really love to help people where they get stuck in their bodies, in their business, whatever it may be. It's just kind of like that silver lining of like what I've found that I really, really enjoy doing. So I'm really happy to be here with you. And yeah, my business has really, really taken off since I started working with Tani. She has taught me a lot. She's been a really great mentor along the way. And I'm so grateful to be sitting in this room with you today and just kind of talk about burnout, because I know we've all been through it. It's not even a question anymore. So, and I also know how daunting social media can be. And, we hear all the hacks and the tips and the tricks and the, you have to do this and you have to do that. It's a lot to take in. And it's kind of like, well, which direction do I take? And that in itself can feel dizzying, So we're definitely going to be talking about, how to show up online today in a way that saves us time, gives us time freedom, and also allows us to move in the right direction visibly in digitally online. So Tani, do you have anything that you want to share about the topic today before I kind of move us into some exercises and things?
Okay, let's look at it. Let me look at my notes. So I think a lot of this stuff, that I would be speaking on in this particular moment would be a little bit more addressing the personal, the mindset. I see some of you are a little bit newer, maybe inside of who I am and how I think and my perspective in some of it. A lot of this stuff, I think, because I've had a marketing company, and then I'm also very much in my own personal development, and then now watching community and what that operates like. I definitely have a very strong belief that what is happening internally in our personal life very much impacts how we show up in our business. Yes, of course, that might not always be the case, but it's just my belief. So I always am looking at things from the perspective firsthand. Like, what's the mindset? What's the perspective? What are we thinking as business women personally, internally? And kind of looking at that first and foremost. So then we can go show up and look at the practical, analytical, the structures, the operations, the systems to grow our business in marketing. And so that's kind of what I'm going to start off with, if you're cool with that. Let's see. Okay, first thing I would say is visibility burnout is often identity burnout. This has been a huge thing for me because, one, having a marketing company, now I'm transitioning into community. We currently, like, what platforms? We're on Facebook, business, Facebook groups, Instagram, personal Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google profile, community chats, Instagram chats. You get what I'm saying? So I'm constantly coming up against visibility burnout because I'm required as part of my job. I got to be tuned in, tapped in. I got to show up. There's also part of my brand. It does require my face to be in the community saying, hello, look at what we've built. Come on in. Now, in my personal life, I'm actually very shy to a certain extent. I get very nervous with other people sometimes, which is people find to be funny. I also am not a very energetic person. I like spending a lot of time doing nothing. So having a business that requires me to like constantly be ready to go, ready to talk, ready to show up, ready to record, that has caused a lot of tension in my business. So some of the things that I've had to address is looking at how do I show up consistently for me specifically. I'm starting to get into a place where, and this kind of brings me to my next point, is my nervous system. So there's a lot of things, I got a lot of things on my plate. If I'm not tending to myself, and I'm not necessarily saying bubble baths and get your nails done, I'm talking about like getting the energy, talking out thoughts, having good nutrition, good sleep, really tending to my nervous system, all the things that I'm dealing with. The more I've tightened up ship on that and made sure that I'm really like providing for myself, I actually have less resistance in showing up. So you're actually going to start seeing me in the community. I'll be showing up, posting, and you're like, wow, you might get a little overload. It's a reflection of my nervous system kind of having a solid foundation, my confidence, who I believe myself to be, what I'm capable of. Now that that's kind of regulated, I feel like, all right, let's go. I can be in front of camera. I know what to say without having to spend hours prepping for it. So I think that is something that's really important because as small business owners, if you're the one that has to sit in front of the camera or write the copy, that then it's an extension of you. So again, going back to why is the personal so important? Because that's setting the real foundation of pretty much everything you're doing. Anything you want to say on that, Kristen?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to say on that, but I'm 100% agreeing with you there. I think it took me a long time to just be okay being seen, because I never wanted to be like an influencer or have to show up online promoting myself the way that I see a lot of people online doing it, especially now running a boutique marketing agency. Like we have a lot of clients that also aren't very comfortable being seen, right? And once I made that mindset shift of like, but wait, I have so much to share and I can't wait to share it with people. It's less about what I'm looking like or how I'm, presenting myself online, and it's more about what I have to share. Then it just became so much easier. And I didn't feel so burned out just thinking about, oh, I have to show up today. Like I have to show up online today. Can't I just be in person and like talk to people like I like to do? So yeah, I think a lot of it is nervous system regulation and taking that, finding some ease in the fact that, yes, I'm sharing what I have to give. And this is what I wanted. And I'm making these meaningful connections with people, and I get to hear them too. And we get to meet each other in ways that wouldn't have been possible years ago. It's kind of exciting. So kind of approaching it from that mindset now, it's easier for me to show up and not feel so burned out about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of flows into this next pointer. I love how this is stating it, but the algorithm isn't the main problem. So kind of bringing a little bit more practicality here. On one hand, I think that people assume that social media is such an huge undertaking, but I think that tends to come from a thought of I want everybody, right? So that's like, I feel like maybe Kristen, you might laugh. I feel like a joke in the marketing world is like when a client will say, the marketer will say, okay, well, who's your target audience? And then the business owner will say, well, everybody. And then the marketer will laugh because they're like, well, yeah, of course you want everybody, but you do need to hone into, for this particular season, product, service, who needs this, so that then there's clarity. So why I'm bringing this up is I think there's, on one hand, again, we're talking about the person that doesn't have a full marketing team, right? You're responsible for doing the social media graphics, copy, putting it across all the platforms. Maybe that's scheduling, maybe that's doing it manually. Then you got to do all of the engagement, commenting, liking, right? There's a lot of pieces to this. Now, if we're looking at, if the algorithm itself, social media is not the main problem, then what does add to the lack of growth through social media? One, first and foremost, clarity. Do you know who you are, what your business offers, and who it is for? If you cannot say that clean, clear, and concise within 30 seconds, don't do social media yet. Because I also think social media is a pathway, it is a funnel. It does not have to be an end all be all. It is 2026. There's still power of word of mouth. And I think that should always be everybody's ace in the hole. But you can utilize social media, any of the platforms that call to you, that you enjoy being on, and then utilize those to funnel for your business. So for anybody that tends to just, personally get overwhelmed and stressed out about social media, you still have a lot of control and can still be very successful without being everywhere. So I just want to kind of say that. So most of the time it's a clarity problem. Do you know who you are, what you offer, and who it's for? Consistency problem. I also think that everybody is trying to do a one size fits all social media marketing strategy. That doesn't work anymore. In 2026, you cannot go copy somebody else's marketing strategy, maybe the outline, but marketing the way you purple cow yourself in today's social media market is you be you, and you be you so fucking bold and loud that it's hard not to look, because people are hungry for emotional connection. They are not choosing based on products and services. They are choosing based on person. What does the person feel like? What does the person speak like? How does the environment look? People are using different different measures, let's say it that way, are using different measures on how they are doing business and how they are spending their money. So when we're looking at consistency, Back when I was full on doing marketing, I was saying, we had 5 to 7 posts, right? Multiple platforms. They're telling you got to do 2 posts a day, plus you got to do 30 hashtags. That's not really the case anymore. So now there's I think the ability, if anyone joined in Kristen's past visibility workshop, she even had a thing in there, do 4 posts a week. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use that for VCBW because now I'm in a season of our consistency. We've developed enough brand recognition that I don't need to post so much. We can go 4 posts a week. So that is our consistency. Now, if you're somebody that you're just getting your business started, you're still getting clear on who am I, what do I offer, who is the target audience, you might only post 2 or 3 times a week, just getting your foot wet, right? Maybe if you're so clear, you have a product, you're about to launch something, you might go 5 posts a week because that is the, you got to launch, you got to be aggressive, you got to get it in front of people. So again, you need to be clear on where are you at, who are you serving, what is the business need, and then you're using social media as legs to help you actually produce those results. We've already kind of talked about a nervous system, but again, I think that if our nervous system is not in alignment, if there's things that we're fear of visibility, fear of rejection, fear of people, fear of posting and getting silence, those are all things that play into that nervous system that I'm kind of talking about. I think we have to be emotionally intelligent women to know that if you're going to go do business, your fears are going to come up. Your fears are going to come up, but they don't need to stop you. You can hear them, listen to them. But then also you are a businesswoman. We started a business to make money. There is, the responsibility of getting that stuff situated so you can show up, you can post, you can be bold, you can keep talking about who you are, what you offer, and who it's for. Anything there, Kristen, you want to hit on while I look at if there's anything else?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think I touched on this a little bit last time, but we are in a trust recession right now. Trust recession because of the way that things are in the world, the economy, AI. Do we even know what's real anymore? So the more we can show up authentically ourselves online, the better it is to get the right fit customer. So you have clarity about who you are and who you're for, who your target audience is, because we're not for everyone and everyone's not for us. So it's really important to find those aligned clients and customers. Because if you've ever had a customer that's not for you, maybe you've had to fire a client that's just not a good fit. It's hard. And then we realize, I need to get a little bit clear about who I'm actually serving or who I'm working with, because I want the right people to come to me. I want the right people to hear what I have to say. And I need to show up authentically in a way that creates connection and intimacy online, because I'm just being me. And the more people see me, the more they feel like they know me, even if we've not met in person. So all of those things kind of connect together, and it's not yes, consistency is important. Buffer, a scheduling platform, did a study where if you post too much, people just kind of their eyes glaze over and they stop listening. You don't have a clear signal anymore. But if you don't post enough, it's just not enough for people to remember you. So that sweet spot is 3 to 4 times a week. Showing up consistently, people seeing you, people starting to trust you, because that trust recession is a big thing right now. We need to have intimacy and connection with like-minded, or at least open-minded people. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that because you mentioned all those things, Tawny.
Well, and that's a perfect setup for what the last point that I think I want to make here is community converts faster than content. And this has been a huge lesson. So me going from being a small business owner, I don't know shit about nothing, to then going to school, learn about marketing, and I launch a marketing company. I'm trying to do all the social media stuff. And then I'm also having clients that I'm trying to get their business off and going by posting, right? And engagement. Then coming and seeing the contrast of what I've been able to accomplish when I'm building out Ventura County businesswomen. And we've talked about this a lot regarding marketing, how Ventura County business women has been so successful in a lot of how we've grown so fast has been because it is in community. So it's not, for example, my old marketing company, it was Teal and Wing Marketing, right? There's not a lot of people I can tag on that. It's just kind of me talking about I do social media marketing, buy from, right? Maybe from time to time I might post an old client or a client testimonial and I get to tag them. Or maybe I hosted a workshop and I get to tag the workshop, right? But my collaborations, my community was pretty non-existent, right, around that particular business. So now when I'm looking at Ventura County businesswomen, completely different model, it factors how many collaborations can we have. So our marketing is really about tagging other people, all of these different people. Every time we have an event, we have 10, 15 collaborations. So then we're tagging all of those people, they're sharing it, getting it into their audience and their accounts. And I have been able to grow so fast that way. And we have never done ads. So that is also speaking to, again, depending on what your product and service is, there still is always an opportunity for you to create yourself, establish yourself as a leader where you are a connector. Yes, you might be a realtor. Yes, you might do healing. Yes, you might have, how would I say yours, education center. I don't know if that's the best way to say yours, Faye, sorry. We might have all different things, but go ahead. Yeah, how would I say that? Would it be like an education center?
Learning center.
Learning center. There we go. Learning center. I knew I had it kind of close, right? So each one of us can still position ourselves as community connectors. Now, there's huge power in that, especially if you are doing your own marketing with no money for ads, because then who you start talking to, it becomes there again, that word of mouth. You're establishing yourself. And so then as you grow, then you can start tagging people, you get their audience. So that spikes up numbers. So again, community/collaborations will help you grow faster than the content you can create. The other thing I want to say here in regards to community building for leadership and for marketing, I always take the case it's 80% education, it's 20% sales. You are a businesswoman. You need to understand sales. It is a part of the job. That's how you make money. You can't do shit. You can't help nobody if you ain't got no money to have. So it's worth our interest to make some cash, right? Now, I know a lot of women are not in the sales conversation. That's okay. We are women. We don't do sales the way men do sales. We feel, we listen, we sit back, we process, we can understand that. But if you are not somebody that wants to constantly push sales, you can still educate, which is the same thing. You help people get clear on who you are, what you offer, and the value of that over and over and over again. That is called marketing. Marketing is telling somebody who you are, what you offer, how to get it over and over and over again, but hopefully you get a little creative, right? So again, 80% education. Whether you're in person, you're at networking, or you're doing your social media, educating, building that community, positioning yourself as that thought leader, and then you still include those practical, analytical things to drive your sales. Booyah.
Awesome. Yeah. I would love to say a little bit about that too.
Please.
The word of mouth piece is, don't underestimate that. It is the beginning of anything that's good. Talking to other people, having conversations with other people, learning from them, what they're going through. There's always a problem there. So what I'm trying to say is there's a problem space to explore. And usually when we start a business, it is a solution to a problem that other people are experiencing. So you're offering this solution to people. And the more you talk to people about what it's like to have the problem that they're having and understand that problem space fully and completely, what they're going through, the better your marketing will be, the better your conversations will be, the better the bigger your community and the word of mouth will grow, because you intimately understand what someone's going through and you know exactly how you can help them. And so it's a win-win. So creating that win-win scenario every single time, that's your sales. That's how you do your sales. It's just conversations. And then eventually other people start talking to each other. After you have those conversations with people, they go and talk to their network, and then they go and talk to their network. And they're always talking to the right people, because you've established from the beginning, this is a problem that you're having. I understand it, and I have a solution for it. And this is how I can help you. And this is how you're going to feel once you've alleviated yourself from this problem. And you're going to feel this way. And that's the messaging that should come across in your socials, in your copy. Not always just, hey, these are my services, but I understand what you're going through, and I can help you feel good again, you know? And so kind of speaking to that piece of it is huge when it comes to sales. And then like what Tani was saying, the 80-20 rule of social media is like 80% value. Like, we just want to talk and talk and talk about, you know, we're kind of positioning ourselves as like a thought leader in this in the business that we run, right? So we know all about it. We have the credibility, and we need to let people know we have the credibility just by giving them so much value and education on what it is that we're doing, right? And then only 20% of the time we're pushing a sale or we're inviting someone to an event. Of course, if you have a big launch or something, it's going to be more than that. Or if you're trying to scale something, it's going to be more than that. But we don't want to just, I mean, think about when someone comes and just is always asking you for something. How does that feel? It doesn't really feel like a reciprocal relationship. Eventually, you just want to stop engaging. But if there's always this like healthy exchange of information or healthy exchange of energy in your relationship, think of it like that on social media too. You're giving so much value, and then you ask.
Beautiful. And sorry, I was on mute. And you know, I think in all of this, you know, we'll start transitioning back into you, Kristen, here, but just kind of wrapping up all of this, what we're talking about, and all of what we're talking about for marketing. All I could say is it also requires systems. This requires structures. So I also do know from just working with so many different businesses, whether they're small businesses, right? They just started. They might be, you know, somebody that, again, they're taking on their whole marketing aspect. You have to be able to be at a point, I think, if you're going to go all in with your marketing, there should be that foundation of systems. Now, what do I mean by that is like, do you have your scheduling? How do you make your graphics? What are your content pillars? Do you have automations? When are all of your events? What are the things you're doing and launching? When did those happen? These are fundamental things that you need to be clear about what is going on in your business, because social media is just an extension for you to tell people about that. So again, I've seen a lot of things like, you know, Kirsten and I, for Ventura County business women, I use Notion. I just particularly like the view outlay of that, because a lot of our stuff, we have a content pillar, right? So we have our 3 to 5 topics that we are always going to talk about regarding VCBW. It helps us establish that trust. People know what to expect when they're coming to us, and we follow that. So we're hitting like, okay, we need to talk about events. We need to talk about ecosystem. We need to talk about members directory. Again, in your business, those are going to be similar things. What are the main key points that you need to be telling people about regarding your business? It's not going to just be one product and service, right? That's where we have to expand. And if you know your systems, if you know your foundation, if you have clarity about your business, then you can actually start like looking at a 30-day calendar. What would I be talking about? What's coming up? What would I need to be saying? And when would I be needing to say that by? so that I can actually produce results. I'm thinking about Fang. Fang and I might be in a similar situation if you're hosting monthly events, maybe even Elena here. If you're hosting monthly events, I've had the experience. I wait too freaking long. I'm not clear on what's happening. I'm disconnected from my business. The shit's not in my calendar like it's supposed to. Well, now I'm a week out. I have no registrations for events. My nervous system's shot and I'm freaking out trying to do desperate actions. That's not what we're here to do anymore, right? We're now scaling back where everything, I know when every event is coming 3-4 weeks out, those notifications, there's prep, there's automations. And so again, I think that's kind of what I'm talking about here. Knowing your business well enough to then use social media to go tell other people.
Yeah, and in real estate too, like I know you kind of have to be the face of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta walk through the houses, you gotta just be in people's faces talking to them about their next sacred space to live. And so there's a lot of video involved, or there's a lot of like getting people excited to come view this house on this day. So those things can still be done ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't all have to be just like last minute where you feel like you're just flying by the seat of your pants.
And that's why it's even more important. I think if you're handling your own marketing, you doing manual day of posting is not the vibe. Because again, and a lot of them are affordable, right? There's a lot of scheduling apps that you could use where, I say like 2 hours, but listen, it might take you even more. It takes me 2 hours if I'm going to do 5 posts a week. Luckily, I have a team now, so I don't have to do that. But when I was doing the social media, once a week, I'm setting 2 to 3 hours because it took me a while. I'm only focusing on 5 posts, right? And then that way, when I have my work week, Monday through Friday, I'm not sitting there trying to think about what should I be posting? I got to get the graphic. Oh, now I need to write the caption. Oh, that sounds stupid. I'm not going to post this. Oops, somebody called me. I never posted. I forgot, which typically happens to most small business owners. So again, if we're talking about going next level, if we're really talking about utilizing marketing the way we could and leveraging that, putting those systems in operations, I'm looking at most of your businesses, your stuff should be planned. So when you have your work week, your stuff is going out and you are at the house showing a client and you have a video that's like, oh my God, come check us out, right? We want to use those to back up what you're already doing.
Yeah. And it used to take me at least an hour, maybe more, just to do one post.
It does.
It takes doing it the day of. Yeah.
I literally am like, why does it take so long to create? Because I also think as women, we're like, there's the perfectionist. It's like, how do I say this right? Second guessing. And then you got things and people also up in the field. So I think it does slow that down. And some people have a knack for it. So if you do, it is a full-time job. And that is why we're here, is how do we just piece it so that you know the basics, so you can navigate your business in a way where you're like, okay, yeah, I can handle this. I'm not going to get swallowed up. You'll probably still have overwhelm sometimes. I have a whole team and we still get overwhelmed. We're like, whoa, life's hitting. But we can make space for that and still put in what we need to so we can grow. Beautiful. I think that's all my points. Let me see.
Okay, yeah, I think that was great. And I would love to kind of walk you guys through a couple of exercises. And then we can kind of go around and share. So
I'm going to stop the recording here.
Oh, we can actually do the exercises. I think I'm going to have, if you have a pen and a paper, let's do the exercises on the recording and then we can stop before the share. Is that okay? Because that way, yeah, you'll get the chance to kind of like, workshop through these exercises if you're watching this later online. Let's see. Okay, grab a pen, grab some paper. And just write down what part of visibility currently feels the most exhausting or frustrating for you. So it could be creating content, deciding what to post, staying consistent, being on camera, trying to keep up, not knowing what's working, any of those things. Just sit and just kind of think about it. Is there one thing or two things that you can kind of pin down to, okay, this is what's really exhausting me or frustrating me? It's totally okay not to know exactly what it is, but just kind of think through it for a second. And then we're going to take that just a step further and see if you can really kind of meditate on or just pinpoint what's underneath that. And I'll just give an example. In the beginning of my social media journey from 2 businesses ago, when social media really became important for businesses, I think I was facing so much decision fatigue that it was completely burning me out. I just didn't know what to focus on or how to show up authentically because it felt weird to be talking to a camera instead of a human. So there were a lot of things underneath that, like maybe it was a little bit of perfectionism or fear of being seen, but there was something deeper there. And then I do want to encourage you to just kind of like rapid fire go through these, listen to your initial gut instinct and your intuition on what it is, write it down. Don't second guess yourself. Just go with that first thing. And then again, just kind of talking about visibility, it should definitely support your business. So one of the biggest mindset shifts that helped me personally was realizing that being visible online doesn't have to consume my life. And I don't have to market like someone with a completely different life or capacity or personality or even nervous system. I don't have to be anyone else, because if I'm trying to be something that I'm not, I'm going to attract the wrong clients. And a lot of burnout comes from trying to force strategies that don't really fit or aren't really aligned, or trying to do something that made someone else successful, but it doesn't really fit for me. So just knowing that we don't have to overcomplicate content or try every single platform or compare ourselves to anyone else or any other business. We don't have to feel that pressure to constantly reinvent content. But the most important thing is that content should have a job. So it shouldn't just be like a random quote, or every now and then it's okay to do some inspirational things, but it should have a job that tells people exactly how you can help them and tells them the next step. So if you think about it like this, like if you walk into a really busy restaurant, it's the new spot in town, everybody's talking about it, the line's out the door, you get really excited, you go, you walk in, you have no idea where to go. There's no signs. There's no directional signs. There's no one telling you, oh, you can seat yourself or you can order over here. And it's a bit confusing. You don't know where the restroom is. You can't find anyone to talk to. Think about it like that. If you have directional signs or something saying this is the next step to work with me, in every single message that you put out there, give them direction so they know where to go and how to work with you. That is so, so important. It reduces confusion and it brings more people to you faster. So here's the next question to write down, or the answer. Okay, so I just want you to think about your business specifically. What do you actually want your visibility to do for you right now? Do you want it to bring more leads? Do you want more word of mouth and referrals? Are you trying to build trust? Do you just want some conversation, increased awareness? Maybe you just want to nurture your existing audience and continue to establish that trust and intimacy with them. So think about, what is it that you specifically want your visibility to do for you in your business right now? And it can be a lot of few things, but pick the one big thing that you need in your business right now. And then ask yourself, and you can write this down too, are your current marketing efforts aligned with that goal? Is your content aligned with that one goal? And this should be really eye-opening, because if you feel like it is, then great, you're on the right path now. You can get a little better, a little more strategic. And if it's not, then it's time to kind of reevaluate. What's the message that I'm putting out there? Am I guiding people in the right direction to meet this one goal that I need for my business? And it's still going to be a win-win for them too. It's a win-win for us, because I know I can help them. I know they need this, and I'm guiding them in the right direction. And everything that I'm posting has to do with that. And then the next thing, we were already talking about kind of the nervous system, which kind of brings me to sustainable visibility. And having sustainable visibility where you're not, where what you're doing is the actual capacity that you have. So you're not trying to overdo anything, but you're just simplifying. So making sure that everything that you're posting and you're talking about is very, very simple enough that people totally understand that you're the one that can help them. And they know exactly what next step to take to work with you. It doesn't mean you have to disappear. Don't give up. Don't hide if you're feeling overstretched. But just create the type of visibility that you can maintain consistently. So that kind of leads into content pillars, like creating themes of what you're going to talk about so you never run out of ideas and you're staying on track with your message. So now I just want you to answer this next question. What is one thing you can stop doing in your marketing right now that's bringing little to nothing? It's not growing for you. Do you feel like maybe you're putting a lot of effort into this one thing that is not working? And on the flip side of that, What's the one thing that deserves more focus if you're taking people through a clear path, showing them what you can do for them, showing them how you can do that, and what next step to take? I think this is when sometimes you realize, well, I didn't really need to over edit that, or I didn't need to overthink that. I spent 2 hours on a post and got 2 likes, you know? And again, likes aren't, I'll just say this. I would rather have 5 likes from people that are truly interested in what I'm doing and that are clients or could become clients versus, 900 likes from people I don't know that will never even go to my page. But what is the type of content that you've made previously or you could focus more on that will create more conversations and relationships, maybe referrals, maybe help build community and consistency for you that isn't overdoing it, that feels good? And then I think we can probably stop the recording now so we can have a little chat about these things.